Hey, it's Jennifer again, and I'm going to be reading day 26 of our Red Letter Challenge book. It's important for us to not just talk about doing good things and meeting the needs in our community, but to actually do them. It's how we show the rest of the world who God is. Take a look at what Jesus says in Matthew 5:13 through 16. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled on underneath feet. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a light and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it up on a stand, and it will give light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. In the Journal of Biblical Counseling, Timothy Keller makes the following observation about salt. The job of salt was to take something and make it taste good. I don't know about you, but I cannot stand corn on the cob without salt. And when I've eaten a piece of corn on the cob that I really like, I put it down, and what do I say? That was some great salt. No, I say that was great corn on the cob. Why? Because the job of the salt is not to make you think how great the salt is, but to make you think how great the thing is with which it was involved. Jesus is calling you to be salt. As salt, our job is to go out and show people our great God. Each time I preach, the success of my sermon is not based on what people think of me. It is based on what I preached about Jesus and how he is our hero. If I preach and someone walks away from the sermon and all they can say is, wow, that pastor is so smart, or that pastor was so funny, then I haven't done my job. My job is to point people to Jesus and give all the glory to him, not to myself. My job is to be salt. For this challenge, your job as salt of the earth is to point people to God, to show them how great God is. That's really what it means for us to let our light shine as well. Don't keep this light for yourself. By shining your light and being salt, you show who God is to the rest of the world. And ultimately, you will fulfill what God has wanted all along for his people. God has wanted us to represent him to the rest of the world from the beginning. That is what he wanted for his disciples, and that is what he calls us to today. As his followers who make up the church, that is what we are supposed to do. The amazing thing is that Jesus actually says that someone can see the good deeds that we do and glorify God because of us. That's an incredible thought. However, I want to caution you on something. I quite often see this. It seems obvious, but I think I need to point it out. I've seen a lot of Christians who shine their lights really bright in places that are already pretty lit up. In other words, I've seen a lot of people who believe in Jesus, who do good works and say all the right things about God in places where there are already many other Christians. It's really easy to shine your light when you're in church or at your small group. But it's very hard to shine your light in dark places or places where there are no other Christians, or where your viewpoints and opinions are not the majority. God calls us to shine our light not around more light, but in the places where there is darkness. It's amazing to think that through what we do and the way we live, we could actually point people to having a real relationship with God. We may never know what kind of impact we have made in someone else's life, but we need to continue to be faithful in serving him and giving him the glory. And that's all for day 26 of the Red Letter Challenge.